Herman Cain is in Washington today promoting his tax plan. I'm Tara Mergener at the White House. Coming up, we'll tell you what's distracting the GOP frontrunner from his message.
And a group rallies in Tupelo to raise awareness about an important issue you'll decide on in the general election in Mississippi a week from now. WCBI News at 5 starts right now.
Covering all of North Mississippi and West Alabama. This is WCBI News at 5, keeping you informed.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Andrea Self. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, students, faculty, and staff at Ole Miss are mourning the loss of 3 students today. Black ribbons hang on the columns of buildings along Fraternity Row today there on campus. A tragic one-car accident off Highway 55 just south of Vaden Sunday morning claimed the lives of 3 freshmen who had just joined Kappa Alpha fraternity there at Ole Miss. Madison High School graduates Sam Clayton Kelly, Walker Kelly, and Mason Wilbanks were apparently heading back to Oxford to attend church when that accident happened.
They were the type of kids that were pretty much looked up to. Strong in character and really strong in faith. Is that right?
Well, counseling has been available to students there on campus today, and the university also held a memorial service on Sunday. Funeral arrangements for the students are incomplete at this time. Well, the final piece of a tragedy more than 3 years ago will fall into place this week. 34-year-old Eric Gregory faces up to 5 years in prison Wednesday when he's sentenced on charges of helping a friend flee the scene of a February 2008 traffic accident that killed 2 people and critically injured a third. Gregory pleaded guilty today to coming to the scene of the Octok Road accident and giving Ryan Crick, a former game warden, a ride while the others lay dying. Crick was later sentenced to 60 years in prison for DUI manslaughter and leaving the scene. Gregory's sentencing is set for Wednesday afternoon in Oktibbeha County Circuit Court. 2 Oktibbeha County men are sentenced to prison in 2 unrelated slaying cases. 46-year-old Floyd Robinson was sentenced to 20 years for manslaughter in a plea agreement with prosecutors. He was originally sentenced to life after being convicted of murder in the 2005 shooting death of his on-again, off-again girlfriend Bridget Moore in her Starkville home. The state Supreme Court overturned the conviction on a technicality last year. Now, in a separate case, Stephen Love was sentenced to 20 years with 5 suspended for manslaughter for the November 2009 beating death of 68-year-old William Brown in Brown's Oktibbeha County home. He faced life if convicted of murder. The sentence runs consecutive to 30 years he's already serving for burglary. And now it is time to get a first look at your forecast on this Monday. We'll turn things over to meteorologist Maddie Kirker. Happy Halloween, Maddie.
Happy Halloween, Andrea. We're going to be seeing some very chilly temperatures tonight, but right now let's enjoy the gorgeous conditions off our Alpha Insurance Skycam Columbus, Tupelo, West Point, and Amory. Looking absolutely fantastic on this Halloween day. Now, we do have a few freeze warnings and frost advisories in effect, and I'll let you know if your kids need to bundle up tonight. I'll go over that in just a few moments, Andrea.
All right, thanks a lot, Maddie. Well, there are a number of initiatives on the upcoming general election ballot here in Mississippi, including one of the most controversial. We're talking about Amendment 26. The measure says, should the term person be defined to include every human being from the moment of fertilization, cloning, or the functional equivalent thereof? Well, regardless of how the election turns out, appeals and court battles are sure to ensue. There are a number of implications, and many believe that the courts will end up deciding how this amendment will impact the state's Constitution. Our Joey Barnes will be taking a look at the issue tonight on WCBI News at 6. He's joining us now to give us sort of a preview of what you'll be talking about, Joey.
Well, Andrea, we're going to be talking to supporters of Amendment 26 and also an Ole Miss law professor, and he kind of boils everything down as to what's going to happen with the legal challenges. And you'll be kind of surprised that it's not very cut and dry at all. And this could go on in the court system for 2-3 years down the road.
Well, tonight starts actually a 2-part series on Amendment 26. A lot of conversation going on across the state.
Definitely. Tomorrow night we'll actually be talking to a medical expert, an OBGYN. And he gives us his perspective. It's also a poll question on WCBI.com. And, of course, the rest of the week, Wednesday and Thursday, we'll take a look at the Amendment 27 and Amendment 31, some other things that will be coming up on the general election ballot.
All right, well, we look forward to your report at 6 on Amendment 26 tonight. Thanks a lot, Joey.
Thank you, Audrey.
All right, the Mississippi Farm Bureau trying to raise awareness about another initiative on the ballot that Joey just alluded to, eminent domain. Representatives from the insurance company, along with a host of property owners, turned out on the steps of the Lee County Courthouse, encouraging people to vote yes on Initiative 31. The initiative would amend the state constitution to limit the power of government to use eminent domain to acquire property from one private individual and turn it over to another private individual or company for their private use. Now let's turn our attention to the 2012 presidential campaign. Herman Cain brought his unconventional campaign to Washington, D.C. today, but allegations about improper behavior more than a decade ago distracted from his effort to promote his 999 tax plan. Tara Mergener reports from the White House.
Republican frontrunner Herman Cain denied allegations he engaged in improper behavior with two former female employees.
In all of my over 40 years of business experience, running businesses and corporations, I have never sexually harassed anyone.
Anonymous sources told Politico the inappropriate conduct happened in the 1990s when Cain was the head of the National Restaurant Association. The candidate insists an investigation turned up no evidence to support the two women's claims.
I was falsely accused of sexual harassment.
Cain called the allegations a witch hunt as they distracted from a campaign swing through Washington, D.C. to promote his 999 tax plan.
Yes, it's a bold idea and a bold plan, but America can't wait.
Cain's coming under more scrutiny now that he's leading the polls. A new Des Moines Register poll put him just ahead of Mitt Romney in Iowa. During a visit to a Washington, D.C. think tank, Cain gave credit to the grassroots movement that's supporting him and poked fun at GOP strategists who predicted he would fail.
This flavor of the week is now the flavor of the month, and it still tastes good.
Cain is eager to move past the allegations and put the focus back on his 999 plan, something that helped propel him to the front of the pack. Tara Mergener for CBS News, the White House.
Now, in a statement released to reporters today, a National Restaurant Association official would not comment on the allegations, saying they were personnel issues that, quote, allegedly took place nearly 15 years ago. Overgrown lots, junk cars, and other violations could land Columbus residents in court. The city is considering reviving a 9-year-old law to write tickets for some property violations rather than tying up enforcement officers and the city council in a lengthy hearing process. The city at one time wrote tickets for junk cars and similar violations, but stopped after some conflicts arose with new state laws. Well, those issues have now been resolved. Columbus has been a leader among towns in the region for cleaning up overgrown properties in the last 3 years, and city officials say the court process would be another enforcement tool. Fines could be as much as $1,000.